Hey, welcome back. So today you will learn how to tap into powerful traffic sources and use them to send traffic to your website for free. So we're going to flood your website with visitors. We're going to build upon everything that we've done so far, because you might remember in previous lessons, you discovered how traffic always trickles down from popular websites to smaller ones. That's really at the core of this and everything else we do with these methods. So you might remember that you found the optimum places to put yourself and on your website in those chains of traffic. So today you're going to learn how to become irresistible to those traffic sources. They're going to crave your content. They're going to be jumping over themselves to promote you. And this is going to create a domino effect. So you only have to hit a few of the traffic sources, and then the rest will start sending traffic to you as well, because it makes them seem irrelevant if they don't. This is an incredibly powerful strategy, and some of the biggest websites on the planet have used this to become, well, the biggest websites on the planet. And my students have used my unique traffic strategies to change their lives too. Meet one of them. This is Matt, and he has used my system to build a very lucrative business. Matt is now making over $2 million a year from his website. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you will, but most people I know just want to change their career, get more freedom, have a bit more security. They're not aiming for millions. But Matt is very inspiring. He might be the exception to the rule, but he is inspiring because I've been on the front lines of digital marketing for 20-something years now, right? A very long time. And I've worked behind the scenes and worked with some of the most popular websites around. And I've been in the unique position to identify a few key things. You see, there are very few people in the world who have been fortunate enough to see behind that curtain for so long. And one of the things that I discovered was that every niche has its own traffic chain. So what really separates those big successful websites from everyone else? Well, they're using the right strategy. It's as simple as that. They know where to position themselves in that traffic chain, just like I showed you in a previous lesson. And this is how you can avoid falling into the trap of hope marketing. Hope marketing is when you do something like create tons of content every day or every week. You put it out there and you share it on social media and you just hope it works. And what happens? Usually you fail, right? That's hope marketing. And another thing that people often try is advertising. Now that typically costs upwards of $500 a month. And there's usually no return on that investment for months and months on end. It takes a long time. And listen, I built my own hobby site to 4 million hits every single month without doing any of that stuff. I didn't bother with any of it. And my students don't really bother with that stuff either. And they see tremendous results too. And when you get the traffic, it changes your life. It changed my life pretty quickly. I mean, just imagine, right? When you have the traffic that you need, you get the life that you deserve. So for me, I didn't want to work for someone else anymore, right? I didn't want to have an alarm clock. So the first thing I did was get rid of my alarm clock. And can you imagine what it's like to never have to wake up with that screeching alarm every morning? Okay, you start the day really good every day. And then you only work the hours that you choose from any location you want, as long as it's got an internet connection, right? Or as long as you've got a good signal. And then having enough traffic does create that freedom, that financial freedom for yourself and for your family. And then that gives you this peace of mind, gives you security. And you know what? Millions of people all around the world have already done it. You know, and they're not aiming to become millionaires. They just want to change their life just a little bit, have a bit more freedom. But, you know, let's be realistic here, because if you do want long-term success for years to come, well, that's going to take dedication and commitment, right? The key here is dedication, because you have to think long term and you have to use multiple strategies. So with that said, let me ask you something very important, because what if you had a dial that could increase the amount of traffic that you get right now? Okay, if you can turn that dial and traffic comes to you very quickly. Okay, if you could have that, would that be something that you'd be willing to commit to? Now, if the answer is yes, let's go ahead and start today's lesson. So let's take a bit of a deeper dive into this traffic flow formula, or at least this aspect of it, because this strategy, the traffic flow formula, encompasses so many different strategies, it will be impossible to list them all in a single tutorial. So what we'll do is take a deeper dive into one of the ways this works in the real world. So I'm going to show you how it works against, well, a typical traffic method. So this is how most people do it. So they will find a traffic source and then they will send traffic to content. So this could be your piece of content. So we have one traffic source for one piece of content. And then people find a second traffic source and then they promote a second piece of content on that traffic source, and so on. Now, this approach is standard. It's what most people do, but you need lots of content for this to work, which means it's slow and it's difficult. It takes a long time to get results like this. And if you've heard people repeat the mantra of just create content, more content, more content, this is the approach that they're doing. And it works. It does work. But again, you need lots of content and it's slow and it's difficult. So let's scrap that approach and let's try something different. So this is how the traffic flow formula does things. So we start with your content and then we have one traffic source. So we find traffic sources that are going to be willing to send traffic to that content. Then we have a second traffic source and a third and a fourth, and they're all pointing to one piece of content. And now, because we're only using one piece of content, all these traffic sources, well, it becomes scalable. So we can add on all these different traffic sources, all pointing to one piece of content. Because we are only using one piece of content, it becomes fast and it becomes easy. And it works so well because your content, your single piece of content, is fantastic. It's exactly what people in your niche really want. But how do you know what people in your niche really want? How do you know what all these traffic sources want to promote? Today, you're going to find out. Now, we've got a whole bunch of different ways to find out what our target audience wants to talk about. And that's what we're going for here. We're going to discover talking points. So the first port of call is Feedly.com. I've mentioned this previously, but today we're going to use it in a slightly different way. So I've created a brand new account just for this purpose, so I can walk you through setting up your feeds for the very first time. So what you're going to do is follow topics and resources in your niche. Now previously we had a look at traffic sources and we've compiled a big list of potential traffic sources. So we may want to go through that list and start adding those websites to Feedly. So to get this set up properly, we head over to create a folder and we give it a keyword. So I'm going to go with marketing. So I'm going to click save. Okay, good stuff. So we now have a folder called marketing. Now, we've got a couple of options here. I'm going to click follow website. And here in the search field, we're going to search for something relevant to your niche. So it could be marketing. If we hit enter, we're going to get some suggestions. So these are websites that we could follow. Chances are some of these are going to be in your spreadsheet already, but if there are any that leap out at you, well, add them to your spreadsheet because they could become traffic sources for you. So I'm just going to add a few here. So we got HubSpot. I'm going to follow that. I'm going to add it to the marketing folder. There we go. Social Media Examiner. I like that. Good guys there. Then Marketing Profs. Yeah, I'll follow that. And then we can spend time going through this. Let's all follow Seth. There we are. Yep. So we will go through and follow all the ones that we think will have the type of content that our audience is looking for. So once you're all set up, go to the Today tab, click on that, and now we have an option. We have Me and Explore. Choose Explore. we're going to see what is trending. So at the very top, it's going to make a suggestion for you. For me, it's suggesting tech, which is not relevant to me at the moment. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go to trending in marketing. So this is more of what I want, because this tells me exactly what my core audience are concerned about right now, what they're talking about at the moment, because we have this piece of green text here. So here we've got some numbers. So this tells us this piece of content is 16 times more popular than usual. If we scroll down, we'll check this out. See, here we have this little arrow. If we click on that, it's going to show us the trend analysis here. So here we can see that at the moment, well, it's previously trended. It's already trended. So it is popular. And it's increasing, so we have this spike and then it's going to increase in traffic. So we know that this is a topic our audience are talking about at the moment. We may have missed the peak, so we may have to explore for a better topic. So just for example, let me show you one that is catching at the moment. So here we have a trending chart for a piece of content that has peaked. It's declined and then it's on the rise again. So I would absolutely target this because we know that there is enormous interest in this topic. So we would run with that. Now let me show you how to find more trends. This is Pinterest trends. And because you know what Pinterest wants, you can now feed it back to them. This is a pivotal strategy of the traffic flow formula, where we find out what is working on online communities and then we feed it back to them because we know it's going to work. So let me show you how to use Pinterest trends. It's pretty self-explanatory. Here we can type in keyword and see what's happening. So let's go with marketing for the moment. So here we have trend over the course of a year. We can adjust this to 3 months, which I recommend that you do. And when it comes to Pinterest trends, we want to see trends that have at least a stable line, somewhat reliable. What we don't want to see is big spikes and then big drops. We want to see something fairly consistent so we know we can always drive traffic. Now, I've chosen marketing because this is going to give you additional demographics about your audience on Pinterest. And we can drill down a little bit further. So we can go to digital marketing, which is performing even better than marketing. That's fantastic. And what we've really come here for is this section here, popular pins. So I'm going to click on one of these. We're going to take a look at what topics are popular here. So this is going to help us generate even more content ideas that we know will work. So for example, best digital products that sell, that could be a piece of content. We have how to create a winning Instagram bio. That's another topic idea. And what I want you to do is start exploring the type of content that is working in your space, the topics that are generating interest. So your target audience has a vested interest in receiving more of this type of content. So we're going to head over to explodingtopics.com. As you can see, it's got lots of trend data for us. There's a free version available. So here we have categories. I'm going to choose marketing and we can see trends over the last 5 years. So all of these could be really good talking points, but I want to get a little bit narrower here. So I want to choose 2 years. We can do that for free. So now I've got even more talking points. So I can keep a record of all of these ideas, and then later on we can bring it into play because we know that these are the topics that will generate traffic. Another option we have is TikTok trends. So it's going to show you the trending hashtags over the last 7 days. We can adjust this how we like it, and we can choose our industry. So you will probably find an industry that is somewhat relevant to what you are doing online. So I'm just going to choose business services because I'm in marketing. And now we can see what people are talking about in that industry. Pay special attention to this new label. That's going to tell you, well, what's new, what's trending, what's catching at the moment. We also have this in green, this green label, indicating that these hashtags are catching fire. And the cool thing with TikTok is we can also drill down into creators. We can see what individual creators are doing and how they're succeeding. And then let's use Reddit to find out what people are talking about in your niche. So we've used Reddit before, but this is probably my all-time favorite traffic source because it's just so powerful. And each time I explore Reddit and spend time messing around and testing things out, I find new traffic methods with Reddit. There is so much potential here, but let's say we're searching for marketing information. So here we have communities. I'm going to hit enter. So now it's going to allow us to click on the communities tab. So let's go with, well, digital marketing. So we're on the digital marketing subreddit. Let me draw your attention just to something here. So here we have the rank by size. Now this Reddit is in the top 1%. Now that's just a good indication of how popular a Reddit is, because if we click on this rank by size, it'll just take us to a list of the most popular communities, the largest communities at the moment. If you're in the stage of trying to figure out a niche, this could be a good way to help you determine that. Okay, so let's go back to the subreddit. Right, here we have content, right? But what we want to do is structure this content so we know what type of content people are interested in right now. Because, well, just because something hits the front page of a subreddit, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a good talking point or a good topic for us to create content about. So what we're going to do is select this tab here where it says hot. We're going to click on that and we're going to sort by rising. Click on rising, and now we know what topics are trending in this subreddit. And there's a way that we can tap into this absolute gold mine of data and then create valuable content and then feed it back. This feeding it back concept is vital to growth. I'll talk more about that in tomorrow's lesson. Okay, I know there's some of you who want to take this stuff further. I know you want to go deeper with this and keep on going. So in the next lesson, we're going to pull everything together. And now that you know what type of content your traffic sources really want, tomorrow we're going to go ahead and we're going to make it. In fact, we're going to get other people to make it for us. But we're not going to pay someone to do it, and we're not going to use artificial intelligence to write it. We're not going down either of those avenues. You're going to get the exact type of content made that your traffic sources are craving. So they will want to promote this content for you. In fact, if they don't, they're going to look silly. They're going to lose credibility if they don't. So this is going to position you and your website as a highly credible resource that your niche has to take notice of. It's the real shortcut to becoming a recognized, respected, and admired leader in your niche. You'll become the type of leader and influencer that people listen to. And when I say influencer, I mean expert. Okay, you'll be positioned in such a strong position. And then I've got something else for you tomorrow. I'll tell you about it in more detail, but I'm going to open up the doors to a very special system. It's a program that will allow you to get access to hundreds of powerful traffic sources. You'll get secret traffic networks that nobody else knows about. You'll get automated traffic systems. And for a very limited time, I'm going to give discount access to people who take action quick. So I'm going to tell you about that more tomorrow. I know you're going to love it. But before I go, I want you to think about what you really want from your internet business beyond the traffic. Of course, we want traffic. That's a given, right? We'll get that, no problem. But what do you want? Is it to make a full-time income on the internet? Is it so you can travel the world? Is it so you can stop making someone else rich and finally start doing it for yourself and for your family? Is it to fire your boss? Or is it so you can become a good provider for your family? Have a think about what it is that you really want from your internet business. Meditate on that. have a good think about it. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's lesson. I'll send that to you as soon as it's available, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.